Here to wade through it all, our panel of strategists and commentators returning are Adrienne Batra, editor-in-chief of the Toronto Star, and Batra, a former Conservative MP. And joining the discussion are Liberal Greg McCachran from Proof Strategies and Anne McGrath, NDP National Director. Welcome to all of you. We heard Erin O'Toole's speech. Adrienne Batra, because I interrupted you so rudely to go to his speech, I'm going to go to you first. And there's so much here, but I want to ask you, what stood up for you?
Well, there's a few things that stood out. First of all, Toronto Sun, not Toronto Star. Just so I can clarify that. So
I decided to...
You just gave me the whole universe, Joyce, which I appreciate. But nonetheless, a few takeaways from what Mr. O'Toole had to say. I appreciated the fact that he sort of took on the many, sort of old tired tropes against Conservatives, that they're intolerant, that they're bigoted, and that they're not open tent. They don't want to welcome immigrants. I think he tackled some of that head on. I liked how he said, a lot of people say we have to be liberal in order to win in the suburban areas. I appreciated how he recognized that, Quebec is a special challenge, certainly for Conservatives in general, and has been for some time. He spoke directly to those, I believe, that would be Bloc Québécois supporters. And then he went all the way to the West Coast and tried to talk to those that would be considered NDP supporters. Where I think he missed is talking to those Liberal supporters out there, and there are many of them. And I'm sure Greg will oppose this, but there are many Liberal voters out there who feel that this current Liberal government under Justin Trudeau doesn't speak for them. So there was a small missed opportunity there, but more broadly speaking, he's going to get clipped, and that's really the best shot he's got at getting this message out tonight. And I think there's a few good ones in there.
Yeah, Brad Trost, he said he talked a lot about broadening the tent and including all sorts of people in the tent, LGBTQ, brown, black, whatever. Will that resonate?
It's a good question. I think he was trying to build on something that he sort of laid out earlier, and that was his 5-point theme. And when I looked at it, I thought to myself, this is the ballot question they're going with. Conservative competence and compassion versus liberal corruption. In the past, we've run on conservative competence versus liberal corruption, but they're trying to add the compassionate element to it. I mean, that's to some degree what he was trying to say by including various groups that the Liberals have tried to alienate from the party. But I think he's also bridging to it with things like his Canadian mental health plan, where he's trying to bring out something specific to show that the Conservatives are not just a bunch of accountants who, care about the bottom line, but they actually care. So I think that's the thing that he's trying to add in here, and that's going to be the trick. Can he add conservative compassion to conservative competence?
Greg McCachran, he attacked the Liberals, but really what he wants to go get some of those disenchanted Liberal voters. Obviously wouldn't have appealed maybe to you, but can you see how it would appeal to those disenchanted voters?
No. And, to oppose Adrienne is pretty easy. I don't need to do that. We can just look at recent polling. Erin O'Toole is not resonating with Canadians. So that's what I was looking for in this speech. Who was his audience going to be? Was it going to be the base? Was it going to be the country? A little bit of both. And I think, we saw a lot about the base. He led off with a lot of criticism about Trudeau. To me, his strongest part was at the end when he talked about rebuilding the country. I think that would have resonated more with people. He uses a line about the country has never been more divided. I'm old enough to remember the 1980 referendum, and I was at the referendum rally in Montreal in 1995. And I would disagree that the country is as divided as it was in those two times. But if you're from Alberta, you may feel differently. And I do think there was a lot of his speech aimed at the West. And that is, again, he still has to talk to his base and rally his own base.
I want to get Anne in here because he said something very interesting. There's those who say no matter what we do, we can only win elections when the NDP are stronger, which means they divide the progressive or liberal vote. You have 30 seconds. And
it doesn't look like that's the case when you look at the public domain polling right now. It looks like the Conservatives are having a tough time. They're going down, and the NDP is coming up. So certainly the NDP is stronger, but it's not helping the Conservatives because they're not doing that well. I thought that speech tried to be all things to all people, and it tried to say that he was going to be more expansive and more progressive, but there was nothing in it that actually kind of indicates that, and his record certainly has not been open to working people or working families or any kind of fairness in our taxation system.